Hey y'all, welcome to Other Realm Studio. I'm Paula, and once again, I have no idea what I'm going to draw. Let's see. So I have quite a lot of work to do, and I'm not entirely sure um, where to start. So let me see if I can do a more challenging perspective. Put on my glasses. Get arranged here. Yeah, sorry about the background noise. It happens. Okay, wait a second. I've got like three images in my head at the same time, and that's not working. Uh, so foreshortening, as usual, is a challenge. Nobody gets proportions right. Not on the first try, and sometimes not on the second or third or fifth or 20th. So I'm actually probably being a little too quiet on this. Until I get some background music that I can use, I'm not going to have a great channel. But, you know, for me, this has been a season of doing the things that I don't even know how to do. And so far, it's working out better than I had originally thought that it would. So, I mean, I've had to teach myself a lot of things. Either because there hasn't there hasn't really been anybody to learn from, or um, that there or that there could be somebody, but you know, there hasn't been time couldn't line up or finances couldn't line up or whatever. I want to learn so many things. I mean, at least enough to have like a working knowledge of them and be able to know what I'm doing when I hire people to help. Uh oh. Alright, I gotta go round up kittens. Hang on. I hear them. I hear them scooting around the house. I'm gonna turn off volume and go sing Here Kitty Kitty. Okay, I'm back. Oh, that was so funny. Alright, so what it is, we have kittens. Uh, we have little blue calico Chai, and we have her brother, uh, little orange cat. We're calling him Naruto. And as it turns out, Naruto is the gentlest kitten. He runs up and attacks your leg, but it just feels like being tapped with little socks. He uses no claws. He's a great kitty. But we're kind of having to keep them in the bathroom, in the master bath, because well, because I had to let somebody else keep them for, a day, and they kind of came back with fleas. I am not happy with the angle of this leg. I am going to come back to that. So, we put flea treatment on them, and the stuff does not work. It doesn't work. Not nearly like it says it does on the package. So what I've been doing before I let them run around in the rest of the house is oh, I'm back. I didn't erase it. I was distracted. But yeah, so the kittens got loose from where we're keeping them, and I had to run help get the cats. They were running around, and so Naruto, the little orange kitten, he's running loose. My husband runs up to him and skids, and Naruto just looks up and freezes, like, "Oh, it's my time to die then." he's just gonna be okay with that. Poor cat. I mean, he's a little bitty kitten, and it was like, oh goodness, it's like you feel being charged by a rhinoceros, I'm sure, because my husband was coming up to him that fast, actually skidded, that poor thing. Oh, I know we mess with the kittens, but I think things might have gone a little far. Oh. And then Chai got out as well, so I caught her. I caught her a lot more gently than her brother had been caught. I can tell you that. Hmm. Oh, that poor cat. He's going to be traumatized for life. Well, nope, not happy with that either. Ah, well. I'll think about it. So all this one's not even for a project. It's just, I need more sci-fi in my portfolio, and I was going to do something anti-gravity. Okay, but I really don't have much time to work on it. But I thought I'd work on it a little anyway. So yeah, I pretty much sat down with zero idea of what I was going to draw and picked a difficult perspective to do and uh, made a few false starts and stuff. But I am blocking this one out more with the. I'm planning it. With the whole circles and tubes idea. Let me see. Nope, nope. I'm just unhappy no matter what I do to get that other leg in. So maybe I'll just leave it off. We'll just say that's behind her. No. No reference. Just scribbling until it looks like something. Which really I should use reference. But at the same time, it's good to practice. Let me get this down a little smaller for the facial features. So I think I can get away with making the fingers a little thicker since I'm going with the idea of like space gloves and what's kind of turning out to be some impressive shoulder pads. Yeah. So I probably will uh, like go back and play around with the little model little models, um, playing dolls, and get something kind of close just so I can get it right. But also, one of the things that you cannot do when using the pose reference tools is something really unique to, drawing art by hand, and uh, it's something that really can't be, well, I don't know if it can't be done outside your imagination. I'm sure that there's tools for it, but the effects for not just foreshortening but exaggeration, which often give like a greater sense of movement, because when you look at an image your brain is not processing the whole thing at once. That's where the squash and stretch principle in animation comes from. You're not looking at, something realistically being squashed and stretched. um, you're looking at the pieces of it, and the way your brain tries to keep up with it gives you the optical illusion of, more motion and more energy in even a still drawing. So that's where the realism movement that's going on currently falls short. Not everything is realistic. The most impactful thing might not be the most realistic thing. So that's where cartooning is still useful. That's where exaggerating features is still useful. It's not about being realistic. If we were all about being realistic, then cameras would be the way to go for absolutely everything, and the new CGI Lion King movie would look perfectly acceptable. Uh, which I don't know. I guess it does to some people, but um, everything in it looks so grayed out. I mean, still, it's not an excuse for being sloppy. But there is a place for it. It just seems to me that sometimes people can't tell the difference between stylistic cartooning and lazy drawing. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of what I found really for me is that a lot of my art really took off once I started drawing the gesture first, and that's why when I start off and I don't have something in mind to draw or something else that I'm working off of, I start off by doing scribbles and turning them into something. See, once if I start off drawing gesture, it comes off looking, much more natural. Let me see if I can fix up the eyes a little. They are spaced way apart currently. Bah! What am I even doing? Okay, we're getting closer. And every method lends itself to a different style. So it's actually really helpful to try a lot of different methods. Okay, so I had liked the shape of this one, but not where it ultimately got placed, so fix that a little bit. I did not think that I was going to like this one as much as I actually do. I think it's working out. Now, it does not matter what I do. This is just not a good angle. But other than that, this is actually working out really well. Yeah, I'll get around to it. Now I need to see if I can balance out my composition with some other elements. Hang on. Alright, it's in view. There we go. So if I'm going to make this so that it could also serve as a book cover, I wonder what would happen if I flip it. Well, I'm not in terrible shape. Yeah. Flip horizontal and flip vertical. Like, I know the definition of horizontal and vertical, but I always forget which one actually goes which way. It would help if it just said flip across or flip upside down. Yeah, it's tricky. But it's a really useful tool. I wonder if this can help me figure out what to do with that leg. Down here. Okay, let's go back to the circle and ball, or circle and cylinder planning. Actually, this needs to go back this way a little. Yeah. Yeah, it beats holding up a mirror. Okay, so this actually from here would be more of the top of the foot. So the leg's going to obscure more of the heel. So this is one of my glutton for punishment days, apparently. Alright, so I like the gesture I have going on here. I like the shape. What we've got is the shape, line of sight coming up here to the top. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Actually, what this is only a. Bleh. It only looks flipped. So. Yeah, I might as well get rid of that one. Wait. Where did it go? Okay, delete layer. So let's flip it back. Okay, so I mean, I have a few basic rules for what seems to work well for for cover design. And honestly, I'm probably wrong about some of them, but I try not to let it get cluttered and oh gracious. I'm getting tired and it's getting late. Or it is for me anyway. But yeah, I would like my art to serve, multiple purposes. That way I can use the same piece for several different things. So I'm kind of experimenting with things that would work as book covers or as posters. Oh gracious. Yeah, there's this British girl who's really very good at Fortnite. And so she's on at like 10 o'clock at night, and we're wondering, does she have parents? Because it's really late. So yeah, we've decided that the Fortnite streamer girl is actually a werewolf. It explains her tastes in uh, TV shows and stuff, and her penchant for staying up all night. Yeah, I don't know if she's been on recently. Probably school's started. Yeah, the Doctor Who episode said as much. Or at least those related to the royal family are. Yeah, I don't think that the royal family over in Britain uh, is lizard people. I do think that the lizard people are in Silicon Valley. Have you seen Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg, isn't that it? Yeah, definitely a lizard person. And really, it's only another means of establishing a dynasty or whatever. Establishing control over the masses and all. He's our ruler, we just don't know it. But yeah, lizard people are very different than werewolves. Werewolves actually have a shot at being cuddly. I don't know. I think maybe he started off as a lizard person and possibly had some enhancements. I don't think he started off as an android. He might be a cyborg lizard person. Um, not so much in the upstate of South Carolina. There might be a little. They might have drifted up a little bit somewhere in the lower part of the state, but nowhere really local to here. Yeah, usually gators are a Florida thing. And believe me, every puddle, every creek, every puddle over, 3 inches deep or so has some kind of gator in it in Florida. Like, you'll be driving down the highway and there'll be these big like retaining ponds. They're shallow, but they're in the exits, between where you have, your straightaway on the highway and the big curve of your exit ramp and your on ramp. And there are these big puddles in there. There's gators in those. They eat the ducks. I've seen them. Oh, well, y'all have cute badgers. We have scary meth head looking badgers. A little further north than here, though. I don't think that they're native to this state. Yeah, your badgers are those little black and white stripy guys. We're starting to get armadillos locally. I don't think that they're necessarily native to right around here, but they're starting to show up as, roadkill. They look like armored possums. Yeah, and they sit in red velvet Queen Anne's chairs. The badgers, not the armadillos. Let me tell you the big wildlife threat we have around here is fire ants. God, they need to go back where they came from. They have been steadily migrating north for years. Oh, what do they have? What do cute little English badgers have to be angry about? Okay then. I can see that. I don't hear a lot of nice things about weather in England. Oh gracious. Yeah, I mean, I used to want to visit Australia, but then I heard about the spiders. Uh, and, you know, the crocodiles. And then I saw a picture of a soaking wet koala, and I'm like, nope, nope, I guess I'll pass. Yeah, I don't think that the sharks are like walking around while you'll be having a picnic unless there's something I have not yet heard about. Hmm. But yeah, yeah, around here there's like five, I think it's five poisonous species, well, poisonous, venomous species of snake. Like you got your copperhead and your rattlesnake, and I think your other kind of rattlesnake, and your water moccasins, and mostly they want to be left alone to eat rats and such. But Australia, chances are it wants to kill you. Well, I mean, don't go into a tree to try and escape anything. Yeah, well, I guess angrier than a badger is not something we want to see then. Well, I might actually keep this. This seems to have turned out okay. Um, but now, yeah, I know. Well, we're very lucky with our not quite so many venomous creatures. I mean, it's just funny that something that looks so civilized is so savage. But no, I don't guess that there's any variety of badger that's really pleasant to run into by accident and unprepared and unarmed and unarmored. Yeah, I I would like to read like a like a kid's story that was a James Bond badger story. I mean, I could seriously see that happening. Let's see. Just do some quick flats just to get a feel for the composition a little bit. Yeah. So yeah, I think this one would really work out as a cover. That's good. Oh, need to fill out a few more of these lines. yeah, if I do like a gradient in the background here and stick to black and white and silver effects on all the elements and keep like this deep purple background, then that's going to look really good. Well, I haven't been asked back, but I would like to. It's just, um, I don't know. I am curious if he ever got around to reading my comic. I mean, I am very happy that his wife enjoyed it. That's awesome. I feel like I've done good in the world. But yeah, I want to know what more people think of it, even if it's not really necessarily their thing. No, actually. Um, so, I haven't really asked anybody to review my work. Um, Nobody owes that to me. So if somebody wants to review it, they can. If not, then that's fine too. But I was listening to him talk to Peter Samedi. And so, I got my comic printed through the printer partnership program or printing partnership program. I always say it wrong first. Um, so I'm listening to Peter Samedi he and Clint Stoker, and they're talking, and he says that he wants his wife to get into comics, but he's tried and tried different ones, and she just doesn't like any of them. And he talked about what she liked to read, and that she's given it a good faith effort and everything, and he just really wanted to share this with her, and I thought she sounded like a cool person. So I was following him on Instagram, and I just sent him a message on there. And I said, "Hey, um so I heard you talking about, you want your wife to get into comics, and she would like to, but none of the stories interest her. Can I mail you a copy of mine that I just finished?" And he's like, "Sure, can't hurt anything." So I I had kind of set aside some copies for like review copies. And I mean, it technically wasn't a review situation, but I figured it'd be a nice gift. So I sent it in, and um, next thing I know, you know, it arrives, and his wife reads it, and she absolutely loves it. So that was incredible. That's Honestly, that's what I'm here to do. You know, I'm here to tell stories and spread joy and to do things right. Yeah, there's a lot of people that get into comics thinking that the world owes them a living somehow. Or there's a lot of people who get into any sort of thing, I guess. Seems like it's especially in the arts, though. And they do things like promise payment to the artist on the back end, like um, you'll get part ownership and half the profits. And you know, if you've been in any kind of business for any amount of time, you should know better. You should know. Chances are there will be no profit. And when I was planning my Kickstarter, um, I was told by a much more experienced comic creator that I can't price my comic for that. I will lose my shirt. Well, not to be weird about it, but that shirt's already gone. I'm never seeing it again. What I have done is I have paid my artist out of my own pocket, out of my own very hard work at Comic Cons and making cosplay accessories and crafting things. And you know, maybe by issue 5 or 8 or 10, it'll start making back what I've put into it, but mostly, mostly I'm just happy to have it made. The real trick is getting it to sustain itself so that I can finish out this arc and start on some of my other stories and help out some other creators that I know they have great stories, but you know, no capital to get them out there. Oh, well, we live in interesting times. So it's late. I've gone over my time. I'm starting to do the yawn uncontrollably thing. So, good gracious. Let's see. Streamception. But thank you for keeping me company. I appreciate it. Stop on by next time. I'm not going to be screaming. Ugh, I'm not going to be. Good gracious. My brain. What is it even doing? I'm not going to be on Wednesday, but I will be back on Thursday and Friday. At least as far as I can tell. Things have gotten really strange over these last few days because I'm not used to I'm yeah. I completely lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Anyway, nice to talk to you too. And I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.